Your party has braved the snows of the pass, but now must travel north along the misty mountains for league upon league as you escort Arwen to her father's house. Hello and welcome back to the Line Unbroken, my series in which I'm playing through each of the scenarios of the Lord of the Rings living card game, in turn using only cards which were available at the time of the release, in imitation of the existing LOTR-LCG progression series. Here we have the second scenario of the Dwarrowdelf cycle, Road to Rivendell. So, put Arwen and Domiel into play under the control of the first player. Here she is. Reveal one card from the encounter deck per player and add them to the staging area. Goblin Gate. Alright. And the Goblin Taskmaster. Ambush. After this enemy enters play, each player makes an engagement check against it. So, first player makes an engagement check. 30 threat, 27 engagement cost, so it immediately engages. Forced after the Goblin Taskmaster engages a player, that player deals 2 damage to one character he controls. Not a great start, particularly given my lack of healing in this game, full stop. But I will put that, no, I will put that 2 damage onto Imrahil. This is a wild and perilous country, and it is dangerous to follow the roads. The mountains rise up on the right, impassively watching your slow trek among their foothills. Alright, so I have a good start here in that I can immediately put Steward of Gondor onto Elra here. And then, as much as I would like to save these spirit resources, I am going to, not spirit, leadership resources, I am going to immediately pay 1 for a Snowball Scout and put 1 progress onto the Goblin Gate. On this side of the table, I can immediately put the Horn of Gondor onto Elra here. So now I have both my resource generators ready to have the elf twins start doing everything. And that's that. So let's quest 2, adding a resource to Elra here. 4, 8. Let's make it 10. Holding back Brand for combat rather than Eladan because Brand is ranged. And his ability could come in handy. 10 versus 5. Goblin Archer. After an enemy is revealed from the encounter deck, the first player must deal 1 damage to 1 character he controls. That does trigger for the Archer itself, and so I will put 1 damage on Aeon. And a Warglair. So only when enemies are revealed from the encounter deck, this Mountain Warg is not going to be revealed. It is merely added. Here we are, Mountain Warg. And shuffle the deck. So that is an extra 5 threat. So as it stands, I'm making no progress. I'll discard the Horn of Gondor to Éowyn. But I think that's all I can sensibly do, so only 1 progress. I'd like to get rid of the Goblin Gate, but I'm going to have to pull it out again at stage 2 of the quest, which I'll just bring that out to see. Yeah. So there's not much point to getting rid of it before then. I can just hope to get some more willpower together in subsequent rounds. I'll travel to the Warg lair and then deck 1 will engage this. I'll do anything about that. Deal out shadow cards. So, my Snowball Scout will be thrown under the Warg. He's dead. Imrahil readies, the horn goes off, and the Warg goes back to the staging area because there's no shadow effect. Over here, we'll defend against this Goblin Taskmaster. No shadow effect, no damage. Imrahil and Brand will combine for 6 attack to kill the Taskmaster. I could ready a hero, but there would be no point. As a slight retcon, I'm going to remember to play Valiant Sacrifice when that Snowball Scout died. Draw 2 cards. And then for the second Valiant Sacrifice have the same trigger, because that is allowed. No, let's discard that shadow card and ready up again. Arwen moves over here and we're ready to go. Alright. So, under the circumstances, I'm going to spend these 2 spirit resources to put Unexpected Courage onto Brand. And then leave it at that. Over here, let's trigger Steward. And then put this Doomsday Warning onto Aura here. Right, I think that will be that. At the beginning of the quest phase, I'll play Sneak Attack, Gandalf, and drop my threat to 26. And then let's quest for 2, 4, 6. I'm adding Arwen's resource to Aura here. 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 16. Ruined Road and Crebain, which surges into turbulent waters. That's an extra 6 threat. Here 15 threat in the staging area. I'm currently making 1 progress. I'll discard this Superfluous Student Gondor to boost AOM by 1. And I'll also discard this Readermark's Finest to boost AOM by another 1. So I'm now making 3 progress, which is enough to clear the Warg lair. These are discarded. When the Warg lair leaves player's explored location, each player draws a card. Begins the quest phase, Gandalf returns to my hand, Elrahir gains a resource, and Prince Emhyr is ready. Let's see, I don't really want to go to the turbulent waters because that will prevent me optionally engaging the Crebain, which I need to do because my threat isn't high enough for them to engage me naturally. I should have dealt with a point of damage for the Goblin Archer when I revealed the Crebain. Well, actually, no, let's put it on Aladan. So I will travel to the Ruined Road and trigger a response to put 2 progress on it immediately. And then... oh... because I dropped the threat, the Mountain Log will not naturally engage me. So... okay, scratch that. I will instead trigger the response to ready Eladan. Deck 2 will optionally engage the Mountain Log, and Deck 1 will optionally engage the Crebain. Deal out shadow cards, and I will feint the Mountain Log, which means it does not attack, so it can't return to the staging area after it attacks. I will have Elrahir defend this, just in case of an attack boosting shadow, or this. The attack is not undefended, but 0 attack against 3 defense obviously does nothing. We'll attack for 6, killing the Log, attack for 3, killing the Crebain. Staging area back down to 10, control them. And Arwen is back over here. Alright. I will play this West Road Traveller and swap the Ruined Road for Turbulent Waters. The threat in the staging area is now 8. This is looking pretty good. I'll play Dunedain Watcher for that extra level of security against shadow effects. And that will be that on this side. Over here, I have that test of will. I will play this Rivendell Blade down to Eladan. And otherwise I will save my resources. So... 2, 4, 8, 10, 11, 13, 15, And I am adding Arwen's resource to either A or Eleanor. Anyway. So that's 15 willpower, yes. 2, 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Range surge into followed by night. 1 damage to all allies in play and followed by night gains surge or all enemies engaged with all enemies engaged with players make an immediate attack, if able. There are no enemies engaged with... Oh, I should have dealt a point of damage because of the Goblin Archer. All enemies engaged with players is 0. So all of the 0 enemies will make an immediate attack. And Sleeping Sentry, which I cannot cancel because Crebain are in the staging area. Right. So oh no, wait, I can no, I think all the damage happens simultaneously, so I can't choose to do that one first and ready Imrahil before he takes his damage. And then exhaust all the characters. I'm not sure if I would... Whatever, I'll do it that way to be sure. So that was only 2 additional threat, so I'm requesting alright. 5 progress. Alright, so now let's travel to the ruined road and ready from Imrahil. Then optional engage the Crebain. I will take them undefended. 0 attack, 0 damage, and I can kill off the Crebain. Control N once more. Right. Okay, I will spend 2 for an escort from Edoras, and then I will spend 1 for a hail of stones, costing the escort from Edoras to deal 1 damage to the Goblin Archer in the staging area. I think I have more resources here than I need, so I'll spend 5 of them to bring out Gandalf and his display ability to draw the cards. Alright, looks good. Now, two more resources from Steward. With an unexpected courage onto Aladan. And that will be that. So then that's quest 2, 6, 7, 9, 11, 13, 17 against 5. Orcs. The first player must choose and discard an attachment from a questing character if able. First player, these are the questing characters. They have no attachments. I don't think you can discard an attachment from someone else's character. So, that does nothing. Each player must deal X damage to one ally he controls. X is the number of allies he controls. Well, I think there are worse things that could happen. So, 1 damage to the D&D Watcher. And 3 damage to Gandalf. Willpower's gone down by 1. 30 gone up by 2. So that's 9 progress I'm making. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. Or he'll defend. I'm going to ready him just in case there are shadows that give extra attacks. I'm not sure if there are, to be honest, but for a second, sorry. Probably should have checked that before starting the quest. But this is looking better. I'm starting to get control over what's going on here. Before Faramir. And then let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, yeah, this Gandalf is gone. 5. Another Gandalf. And again, draw 3 cards. Over here. Not sure if I want to play anything over there. So that's quest 2, 4, 8, 12, 14, 16, 20. 20 against 5. This again. Again, I think it could be worse. I do lose 4 willpower. I kill that escort. Get results ready. Ah, Orc Raiders. Ambush. So they will rage here. That discards 2 attachments he controls. Enable. That's unfortunate. I do have a spare steward in my hand, and so that's no additional threat. I'm making 11 progress. So I'll exhaust Faramir targeting this deck, because why not? Increasing my willpower by 2, so I'm making 13 progress. Heavy rain drives you to seek shelter among the caves of the mountains. They are dry, and the fire you start seeps into your bones and restores your spirit. Your eyes are heavy when the soft clatter of falling pebbles reaches your ears. Perhaps you are not alone. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for Goblin Gate and add it to the staging area if able. Then, if there is no active location, Goblin Gate becomes the active location. Now, because it says then, technically I don't have to make Goblin Gate the active location because I wasn't able to add Goblin Gate to the staging area because it's already in the staging area. So I couldn't fully resolve the first part, so since it says then, you only resolve the second part if you fully resolve the first. So I don't have to make Goblin Gate the active location now. However, I want to travel to it anyway. I was only setting it up until I got here, but I knew if I explored it, I would just have to pull it back out of the discard pile. So I figured I'd wait until this point. So, that's combat. Elra here will defend. Friendly planet's got 2 resources from each hero he controls. It could be much worse. No damage. Imrahil, no brand. Can kill that. At the end of the round, Gandalf will play and Alan will gain a resource. Control N. So, put one of the ancient melons on the gate. Brings Vassal of the Windlord. And let's play another escort from Edoras. Actually, no. Save those spirit resources for Test of Will. I don't want the escort yet. And on this side, let's play this new steward. And then, let's see. I will play Parting Gifts. Pass 2 resources from here to Eowyn. So she can play Unexpected Courage onto Elra here. And still have a resource left for that Hasty Stroke. And that should do nicely. Let's quest 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 14. This is an empty staging area. And here's that again. I still think things could be much worse. I'm going to do 1 damage to Faramir and 2 damage to the Vassal of the Windlord, which is killed King. There was also an Elladan and readying in. And then the Barren Hills. Okay, and I've managed to be able to ignore the effect on the Goblin Gate because I didn't reveal an enemy. So that's 2 threat, I make 12 progress. Ancient Malum triggers. Let's draw 3 cards over here. Advance. Orcs and other creatures have hounded you since fighting your way free of the Orc outpost. Soon you will reach the safety of Rivendell's borders, but supplies have dwindled, and you are dead weary from sleepless nights of keeping watch, as dark forms shadow your camp. So reveal 1 card from the encounter deck by player, and out to the staging area. Characters cannot be healed. That could be a problem if I had any healing. Alright. So let's go to the Pathless Country. And let's engage this. Over here we'll defend. Turn attacking enemy to the staging area. Watch it attacks. Oh, there are just things. I will save my hasty stroke. There's a nice draw. Oh, it's back over here. Use Steward. Bring out Rudemark's Finest. Bring out this Edoras. The second Rivendell Blade over here. In response to which I'll play Renewed Friendship. So, ready one of that player's heroes, not particularly useful since it's only going to come up in the planning phase, and generally heroes aren't exhausted then. Draw 1 card or lower threat by 2. I think I'll take the threat option. And that will be it for planning. We hit quest phase and we place the attack Gandalf. Now when Gandalf enters the play, I'm going to draw 3 cards. Right. That's quest 2, 4, 6, 10, 14, 16, 18, 22. This is a staging of 4. And so we reveal this is running painfully slowly. My computer has problems, I guess. Alright, followed by Knight. Yes, all enemies engaged with players will make an immediate attack if able. There are no enemies engaged with players, no attacks are made. As I said, difference between all and each. Very significant. Plundered Armory. So that's 3 threat. So I am making 15 progress. The Pathless Country will take an extra 1. That'll be 9 progress on the quest. I will exhaust Faramir, targeting deck 1, questing with 5 characters, so it's an extra 5 willpower, so I'm now having 20 progress. I really need... yeah, I think that is right. Yes, 20 progress. So, 2, 3, 4, 5. After at least one progress token is placed on Parther's country, remove one progress token from it. I think that means it just takes an extra one. I've now placed 6 progress there. I've got another 14 here. I also, of course, could have gotten a bit of extra progress out of discarding the Remark's Finest and discarding cards to Eowyn. So, that worked out pretty well. It was a bit of a worrying start. The Goblin Gate, obviously, a significant amount of threat to have early on, but I didn't want to travel to it, as I explained, because I would have just had to bring it out a second time. And the effect on it can be troublesome to deal with. The twins actually didn't get to do that much. Just how things fell out. Well, Elrahir did a lot of defending, Elladan didn't get to do a lot of attacking, because I suppose this is one reason why you want to have them in the same deck. Though I feel it's significant to remember that they don't have to be. This is why, of course, I had the Dunedain caches and signals, so they could be ranged in Sentinel, but on the other hand, I didn't need that. And with Leo getting unexpected courages into play, despite being tactics, both these guys have 2 willpower, so that was coming in handy, and everything just worked out quite easily. There are things that can be big problems in this quest. Of course, I was riding high on damage. The Sleeping Sentry, which I was unable to cancel, was a problem when I specifically built my decks with Spirit in both, so I could have 6 tests of will, and Eleanor can exhaust to cancel. But then the Rivendell just stopped all that dead. Of course, the even worse has a shadow effect, but didn't have issues with that either. I still have this hasty stroke that I was just holding on to. So, yeah, I was prepared for a lot of nastiness, and most of it didn't happen. Yeah, the Goblin Archer was a problem, but Hail of Stones took care of that, which is good. Otherwise, I was a bit concerned that I'd need to actually kill him with Gandalf, which would seem a bit of a waste for direct damage when I only needed 1, or get a Dunedain cache onto Elladan so he'd be ranged and could use the Rivendell to shoot up there. So you need at least 4 attack or reducing the Archer's defense. Or is it Sniper? I can't remember which is which. Goblin Archer, Goblin Sniper. Yeah. So yes, the direct damage was a problem, particularly since I had no healing at all, because no law. But I managed it, and to be fair, I probably could have still managed even if I'd had to kill off a hero. The only thing that really would have been a problem would have been another Sleeping Sentry that I couldn't cancel, So another Crebain and then Sleeping Sentry, because that obviously would have killed Arwen, which is one of the reasons Sleeping Sentry is such a horrible card. It's pretty harsh in general, because 1 damage to each exhausted character, then exhaust all ready characters, unless you have some spare readying effects lying around. That means all your characters are exhausted for combat, and that generally doesn't end well. But also, it happens twice, Arwen is dead. Regardless, things worked out, so thank you for watching, and come back next time for The Watcher in the Water, which doesn't have anything as bad as Sleeping Sentry in it. Thank you, goodbye.